He's a tactical genius, he's the one to see on VP4 TV. He's wild and he's free. I'm on top, number here to you and me. With his cunning moves, he's rocking endlessly. Tables and cues, they bend to his will. Every shot he takes gives everyone a thrill. With a glance and aim, he works to the skill. In the ball, legend from the Jill. Tables and cues, they bend to his will. Every shot he takes gives everyone a thrill. With a glance and aim, he works to the skill. In the ball, legend from the Jill. Tactical genius with every play, making magic happen every single day. In the world of billiards, he knows the way, taking every shot with prayers we say. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. From the corner bank to the perfect cut, he wins the game without a single strut. Chalk it up, just for fortune or luck. But skill like his, it never gets stuck. On VP4 TV, he's the showstopper. 9ball.com's the king, no one can top her. Watch him play and you'll be a hopper. He's the man, we all shout proper. Tactical genius with every play, making magic happen every single day. In the world of billiards, he knows the way, taking every shot with prayers we say. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. To the perfect cup, he wins the game without a single strut. Chalk it up, just for fortune or luck. But skill like his, it never gets stuck. On VP4 TV, he's the showstopper. 9ball.com's the king, no one can top her. Watch him play and you'll be a hopper. He's the man, we all shout proper. ATG from Kilmarnock town, got your hustle down. Streams the pool games live, makes our day come alive. Early mornings on your grind, Tesco shift unwind, but you find the time to play, stream the virtual day. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there. Virtual cue in your hand,
And it's a sucker scratch. Look at the line. Commentator's eye. Don't say I didn't warn you.
OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there. Virtual cue in your hand, amazing shots you land. From your home to our screens, living out our pool dreams. Early riser, work all done, streams the games just for fun. We'll cheer for you every match. TG, you've got the magic touch. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there.
This for the 101. Absolutely sensational once again.
Virtual cue in your hand, amazing shots you land. From your home to our screens, living out our pool dreams. The games just for fun, we'll cheer for you every match. TG, you've got the magic touch. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there.
That was fantastic. Where's the cue ball going?
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool, nothing else.
Well, good afternoon or good early evening, folks. Welcome back to VP4TV. We have an upcoming match at the top of the hour in the Virtual Straight Pool World Championship, or the 2026 Virtual Straight Pool World Championships. And it's between Bankster representing Kuwait and former Virtual Straight Pool World Champion Acero representing Japan. Now, Bankster has just arrived, and Acero, if he's going to show up, is going to show up at the last minute. We've had a couple of matches today. The first one earlier today was obviously arranged on the spur of the moment because, first of all, I wasn't in the lobby. And then secondly, when I arrived and found out the match was going on, I had problems with my XSplit broadcaster. It didn't want to load, so I had to uninstall it, reinstall it. To cut long story short, eventually got it working, and by the time I had sorted that out, the match was quite a way on anyway, this match between Romario and Silent But Deadly. But I got in eventually. The match, what was left of the match is on my channel, and it's on a new playlist as well for the tournament. And Silent But Deadly won the match 200 points to 189. But I'll tell you something, Romario had umpteen chances. I lost count of the amount of opportunities he had to win that match. And when I tell you that the highest run in the match was actually made by Romario, we witnessed that late on in the match. The high run was 24 from Romario and 21 from SBD. So first of all, that's sort of standard. Yes, there's an excuse that the pockets are that bit tighter than what they have been in recent times, but they are on tournament pockets now. But that still doesn't mean to say that it stopped them scoring heavily, because they were making mistakes left, right and centre. Romario doing the usual stuff, playing far too quickly, and I think Silent But Deadly was doing some of the same stuff. So needless to say, it was not impressive, and with high runs like that, they're not going to win anything, let alone stay in the tournament. And then we had a match between Spudboy and Interchange X. Spudboy, I think, forgot the thing was on or get mixed up with the clock times, because I believe, according to One Pocket Slim, they are now on daylight savings time, or whatever they call it over in the States, or their clocks have gone forward last night or early this morning. Ours over here in the UK don't go forward until Sunday the 29th of March, the end of the month. And so there is that time zone difference change. And I don't know whether that's going to cause any confusion with Acero, but Bankster is here anyway. I don't know whether Steve's got any intention of joining this. I'm going to have a quick tab out. No, he's not there. He probably doesn't know it's on. So at the moment, and of course, going back to what I was talking about there, I almost forgot what I was talking about. The Spudboy match was actually played after Spudboy had forfeited it to Interchange X because he didn't get here in time. Interchange X clearly agreed that they would play it. I had to go and get dinner. One Pocket Slim was streaming it. It was going at a snail's pace, but it did eventually finish. I'm assuming that Interchange X went on to win it anyway. And he, of course, is now through to round 2 or round 3, because I don't, some of these matches are round 1, some are round 2. But the one that we are dealing with at the moment is a round 1 match right at the top of the bracket. And Silent But Deadly is now through to play Rabi in round 2. And I would say this to Rabi, if he's going to catch up with us or watch this at any later point, you've got a very good chance of causing problems for Silent But Deadly, because Romario had loads of opportunities to do that, and he should have got the job done. And if you're hanging in there late on in the match, then you've got a chance to take Silent But Deadly down. And of course, we've still got some very good ties still to get played and still to get scheduled. So Interchange X, after his round 1 win, is now through to play MC_Clarkey. So that should be a good tie as well. We've got Stubb against Spectre Dawn, of course. These matches have got until March the 24th to get arranged and get done. So let's see what's going to happen here. The room is up. In fact, the 2 players are here and they're in the room. Let's get underway. I'm too busy rabbiting on. And we've got in. We're underway. And acero at the table. Now, again, just a word of warning to people who, before anybody starts to complain, and I've already warned you prior to this that I don't like excessive movement of the camera most of the time. But in straight pool, I do, because I like to see what is set, what combos are possibly there. And so for the benefit of viewers as well, I will be rotating the camera a fair bit. So be aware of that. And if Steve does decide, does realise this match is on and he decides he wants to join, no doubt he will come into the room and I'll then know that he's in, what do you call it, Discord. And I am expecting a bit higher standard in this from what I've seen already. Because certainly we haven't seen any tournament winners today, I don't think. And of course, acero has been there and done it. Of course, the difference is, though, I don't know whether he did it on, I think he might have done it on the looser pockets, although somebody will probably put me right on that. And for them that don't know, instead of being what they call normal pockets, that is the bigger pockets that straight pool tournaments have been played on in recent times, Steve's decided he's going to have it on tournament pockets. So it does make the pockets that wee bit more tougher. You've obviously not got as much leeway to cheat the pockets as you do with the normal pockets. But then again, pretty much all the tournaments that any of these guys enter are all on these pockets anyway. So acero has the issue on the left-hand side, although I'm not quite sure whether he can get enough of the 4. The 11 doesn't go. So the 6 ball is a bit wide, I think, but well, I think he's got as good as he can get in this 4 ball, but it's tight. He's maybe have to squeeze it in, but he's got it. Now having a quick look at this 6 ball, we can see it's quite away from the pack, but he's in good position to get good shape on it for this break. Now, I don't want to jinx him, but there's a strong possibility we might see the highest run of the tournament here, right in this first visit. He hasn't got a lot to beat. Oh dear.
Where's the cue ball going?
Commentator's curse. And the danger going off the back of the pack is exactly that. He's scratched. And the run ends in 14. Well, that certainly jinxed him. And Bankster, ball in hand in the kitchen. And a ball easy enough to get started. And certainly about 6 or 7 balls in the open that he can work with. And there actually is a good number of what could be nominated break balls as well, but no doubt things are going to change up. Things are going to be moving in a little while as well. You can see we've got the main cluster here, and something's going to have to be bumped eventually. Yeah, it's unbelievable what I can come up with. Welcome to Slim. What was the final score in that match, Slim, with Spud and Interchange X? I'm assuming Interchange X won it. So the bracket doesn't need to be changed. Well, was that the right time to try and bang into the pack? I don't think it was, because Bankster's had a blast. His run ends on just 3, and it should have been a lot more. And if you're going to take down acero, you're not going to do it with visits of 3. And I think he made the wrong move at the wrong time there, Bankster. There was other opportunities, in fact, better opportunities close in to get a bump on those balls. The first priority every time is to get the pot. Well, it wasn't that scory. I mean, Spud Boy had something on the board when I left it to go and get dinner. Well, again, quick look up top. We have a pretty good break ball there. 12 ball. It might be bumped though, but it doesn't really need to be bumped. You've just got to get into a spot to clear these in the right order. Well, he's going to have to probably take it now, because that hasn't worked out right. I mean, you could take these 3 balls out. That opens up the path for the 2 on this side. But that hasn't worked out, and he's had to get rid of what would have been the break ball, but the bump that he's had has given him another opportunity. Problem now is that 14 ball's in the way. And he's got the perfect opportunity to get rid of it now. Well, looking at the 13 instead. At the moment he is anyway. Well, he doesn't want to bump these other balls. Avoids the 5. The 4 is way too high on the pack, so the 5 looks favourite. The 2 is right in the corner. In fact, it might be impeding the rack, that I'm not sure, and that's worked out no good either. Starting bumping balls that he doesn't want to bump. Well, he's run through a bit further than I would have liked. Got a good hit and got a shot. And we've got a 1 and a 7 at the moment that are dead set. The 3 will go past both of them, but it just depends what Acero's focusing on it for the time being, because he can deal with these balls this side and he can get to this situation here. Once he clears the 3 ball, he's got the 6 ball, and if you get the angle in that, you can get a little nudge to open these other ones. So this is not a bad setup at the moment, but as soon as I say that, he's blown a gasket. Well, I'm assuming that most of these players that have entered this tournament do realise that the pockets are now narrow, rather than what they have been in recent times. You would imagine they would have had a quick look at the tournament setup and not take things for granted. And Bankster's visit was what you call short and sweet. So in his first 3 visits, he's had a grand total of 4 points, which again is absolutely no use. And of course, the other thing as well is I don't think either of these guys bothered about any sort of warm-up, because they just turned up in the lobby at the last minute. They're going to warm up as the match goes on. No, you want to take my advice, Romario. Go back to pivot English. Go back to what you're used to. I did the same as you. I went back. I went to the legacy VP setting, and I couldn't pot a ball. Well, I potted less balls than I normally can anyway, because I'm a lot more familiar with the pivot English setting in this game. But anyway, that's still no bloody excuse. You were bloody awful with the amount of chances you had to win that match, and if it only you'd slow down, you'd have had that one. It'd have been in the bag. And telling me that you changed your English setting's not going to let you off the hook, I'm afraid. The amount of chances you had late on, unbelievable amount. I lost count of them. Yeah, you're going to get caught out when you're trying to judge the angle or judge the pot when you're putting English on it. I can tell you that straight away, and you're gonna miss shots you wouldn't think you would miss. Whereas when you stick back to the pivot English, everything becomes much easier. That's what I found. I'm betting you won't stay with that very long. You'll be back to what you're familiar with. Anyway, back to this match. Bankster is going to have to shake himself down pretty quickly here, or this match is just going to run a mile away from him. He can still get back in touch, but he's not going to get back in touch in 3 visits and making 4 points. He's got to score something. Well, we're getting to a sort of nitty-gritty point in this rack, because these balls are all blocking one another here in the middle of the table. Now he can do a cut here and get a hit on them. Well, he's just hit one of them, and, well, he's got a bailout ball in the 6. He's going to hit them again, unless he finds the gap. And he needs something good to happen here to keep this going. Well, he's pretty much found a gap, but it's not too bad. Again, there's balls that have to be cleared to open. I think the 4 ball, you can get enough of the 4 ball to pot it, but obviously the 2's in the way on that side. Well, he's now got a bump. And how's that 4 and 11? Well, the 11 cleanly goes. The 4 doesn't. It's blocked by the 11, but that can easily be dealt with. And I think, let me have a quick look again once he's potted this ball. I think they're too far at the back of the pack, those 2 balls, to be break balls. Let's have a look. No, they're actually ideal. They're fine where they are, but again, he doesn't want to be nudging something out the way if he can help it, because again, running out of balls to deal with here. And he took evasive action there to make sure he wasn't heading anywhere near them. So now he's pretty much fully committed that the 4 ball will be the break ball, so he can, I think he can nip round the back here. Has he got there though? Oh, he's just got there. So this is just about judging the pay. Well, he's played into the stack, so he's got ball in hand in the kitchen, which was a wise move. Cue ball, heads up table. Balls are broken pretty well, and has a shot. And he's already got the high run of the tournament. So Romario's high run record has been blown out the water. Didn't take long. But if you are Bankster, you're just sitting there watching Acero heading off into the distance here. Acero now with a 50-point lead, which of course bumps up the pressure even more the next time, provided Bankster does get a visit. We need to have a quick look at the top end of the table here, because I think that is pretty much, or at least it looks like a dead set combo, that 8 and 13 ball. I think it's going to the jaw, but it still looks as if it's pretty much a guarantee. Well, is this going to be... I think he's called it right now, hasn't he? He doesn't want this cue ball to run away too far. Well, he's got the bailout ball, 7 ball down the table. And he's probably going to have to take that. Is he actually aware that the 7 ball is there? Well, he's had a quick look. Yeah, this isn't guaranteed he's going to get in a ball here the way these are sitting. So he's left it so that he can actually see the 10 ball, unless he's going to bank the 1. But I think it's the 10 he's going to play. And it goes. Now, every time you approach the critical point at the end of each rack, you've got to have more or less committed to what your break ball is going to be. Now, looking at this setup, you've obviously got the 2 balls that are in the stack there. They're no good, but the way these are sitting, they're quite... a wee bit away from the rack. And the other problem is you've got this problem here, and that is a tight squeeze. Yeah, that was never going. That was never going. The run ends on, what was it, 35. So Bankster hasn't really got a great table here. I mean, that 15 ball will do. Of course, you've got to get good on it. And more importantly, it has to go in. And this cue ball's just run a bit too far. So now he's going to be even further away from the break ball. And again, I mean, there's absolutely no control over what he's done there, because look at where the cue ball's gone. Misses the pot and his cue ball's leaked out the way. He should have just taken his medicine, potted it, and played it from further away, because his control of the cue ball got him nothing. So, big cut. Cue ball is going to come down table if it hits the side of the pack. Well, it's hit the corner. Most of the time when that cue ball comes into the side of the pack like that, it's heading down table, and there's a possibility of a scratch, but he actually hit the corner ball. Well, he's got a shot. And looking at the other side of this bunch of balls here, the 15 goes. If he was a wee bit higher on it, he'd probably have took that 15. He can take the 9 and get into a spot, because he's got a bailout ball, but it'd be quite... It might be well worthy actually playing that 9 ball and coming back and having a bailout and having a go at this 15 and just breaking these balls open. He's gone forward. He would have had to have jacked up to punch that in and bring the cue ball back to get there, but that might have been a shot to play. Now the other thing is he might have to roll this in to get there, to use that as a break ball for this cluster. And the other thing is he might never get there. You know, that's the problem. He had an opportunity to get there. It wasn't all that difficult to get onto that 15 ball, and he never took that opportunity. So he has to find another way to deal with this cluster. Well, he knows the 15 goes. The problem is he's the wrong side of it. So if he's going to break them up, he's going forward to the rail and coming into them. And he's got a shot. He's got a shot. Now, he hasn't got a combo here with this 7 and 2. We can see that the both of them would go, provided this mess was cleared up and the 4 ball was out the way. But you would think that something in here is going to be the break ball. The 4 ball looks far too tight to the pack, although I think it's still a valid break ball, though. It's tight, but it won't be there much longer. Oh dear, he's completely taken his eye off the ball there. That's a poor one from Acero. Well, Bankster's had, what, about 4 or 5 visits, and he's only accumulated 6 points. I still say that, you know, no matter how often you don't play straight pool, it's still well worth a practice if you've entered this tournament, you know, to put in some time. Bankster's really just struggling to get his pace right. That's actually nudged the 2, but he's still got a shot. And now he has to play a good one. And well, that visit just sends in 3 as well. So Acero's not going to be breaking any sweat. You know, it's just going to be a matter of time before he gets over the line. The lead is big enough at the moment, and there is no threat coming from Bankster whatsoever. Although in straight pool, you are never out of it. There's always that possibility, slim though it might be. And that's a pretty good shot from Acero. That is ideal. Wow, that cue ball has almost gone dead, but he's got a shot. And it may well be that by the time Bankster gets to another visit, he's going to be possibly trailing by 3 figures, and the match will be almost beyond his grasp. Well, it will be, judging by the points that he's actually accrued so far. There's been nothing to suggest that he's suddenly going to come in here and suddenly put in a 70 or an 80 run to get back in this. There doesn't seem to be any threat of that happening. Well, he's got a shot up table. He's got a thin cut and a 15, but not an awful lot else. And he's going to have to manufacture something here. Well, the 3, but the cut and the 5. There's the cut and the 3. You can't see any of those 2 to pot them, or see any line to pot them on. But now he's more or less back in business. But there's a problem he's got to deal with. And he's decided to deal with it immediately and playing this, trying to manufacture this combo. He's got to get this thin. He's sitting pretty good to play this combo though. Well, he ended up getting a double kiss, and he actually caught the 8 ball too thin. Right, so here we go again. We're waiting on Bankster actually putting something on the table here. And there's not really a great break ball there again. This one's, it's in the region, but it's just a wee bit further away from the pack, but it does give an opportunity for a break shot. Bankster hasn't gone through far enough in this pink 12 ball. Going to have to go to plan B. And the cue ball really needed to keep running to get rid of this 12. So now he's probably going to have to bail out in his break ball unless he deals with the 12. And he's got to watch the... Oh, he's missed the pot. Well, there you go. That's his highest run of the match, believe it or not. 5 was it? Oh, welcome to Chimpy. Good evening. We won't be here long for this. This is pretty much all over already. But I would at least like to see some glimmer of hope for Bankster. He's been far from anywhere near impressive. But you'd think he'd at least be able to put a little run of double figures together, and he's still not been able to do that. Well, that was a bit too straight, that break ball. Now, this is where you need to have a quick study of the stack, see if there's anything that can be manufactured, and I don't really think there is. Hang on a minute. That you could get crazy if you could see enough of the 8 ball and blast it onto those two to play a far-fetched combo, but when you've got a lead like Acero's got, you don't do anything stupid. You just let your opponent do that. Bankster, he's called is he called the bank? Yes, he has. Ends up getting a double hit. Not a lot doing in this stack of balls here. Yes, there's. Well, you could get crazy, play the cut and the 10 and come down for a hit on them, which he might well do. I mean, you could pot the ball, whatever ball that is that a 15, come across, cut the 10 in and come off the rail and go into them. That's a bigger area to hit. But he's not finished good in the 10 ball for a start. And now he's going to have a problem trying to get down to make this combo. Just going a tad too far, but he's got a good chance of it though. And again, got to watch the cue ball coming off that line of balls. It could run forward and follow this in. He's got it, because again, he's only on the top of the cue ball here on the rail. This could run in and scratch. But he's caught the other side of the pack, and I think he's dead in the water unless he can cut the 3, and that's far too close. And I don't think he can get enough to cut the 1 the other way to pot the 6 and make that combo. The 3 ball's in the way. So he could just take a loss of a point and just stick the cue ball in the stack. No damage done. Or, just bunt the 3 and hold the cue ball there. Well, he's trying to play it off the 8. This is a bit ambitious. Right. Well, Acero on 87. Bankster on 14. And we'll state the obvious and say that Bankster needs to put a score together if he's going to give himself any semblance of a chance in this match of hanging in there. I suppose the one thing about straight pool is it really, if anything is going to point out your failings in terms of your pattern play, it's got to be straight pool, because that's what it's all about, and how you manufacture a run with these balls and how you deal with situations. If ever you're going to be sort of shown in the raw, it's this game here. If all you're ever putting together is little runs of 6 or 7, and you're not really constructing anything at all, then you have to be doing something wrong. And it can only ever be down to your pattern play and how you deal with these lay of the table. But of course, probably even more important than that, of course, that helps the situation is how you work the cue ball. If you can keep that cue ball in the right spot each time, you'll always give yourself a chance. And that's not got to the pocket. Again, the run isn't double figures, it's just a run of 8. Now that ball over the pocket could well do as a break shot, but he would have to get the other side of the 8, or hold the 8 over the pocket if he plays the combo. I think that's what he's trying to do here. He's probably hoping Well, he's going to play the 4 and leave the high cut on the 8. Well, he's actually held it in the pocket side, so again, got to watch how this cue ball comes off. If he's spinning forward, caught the corner, and that's worked out not too bad. Got a shot to start off with. 6 ball, and then go through the gap, deal the one in the top rail. And then, of course, you have various blocking balls here. And I suppose the other thing about straight pull is, you know, when you're in a situation like this, you're seeing a table like this. If you've immediately got a blueprint of where you're going, then that's, you know, that's probably a big advantage to you if you know exactly where you're going straight off the bat. He's played a nudge there and he's opened a couple of these up. So now, looking at the table, his only real problem is what's here. So when you have that situation, and if we even look at that, there's certainly no combo there. But there's ways to go about this. If you're thinking of getting into this tight spot and clearing those balls, you're opening up that one. And of course, the other rule that Steve talks about is you don't want to be bumping balls when you don't need to, because you can end up creating problems for yourself. And he's called the combo. That's dead set. Now we're just at the stage of running out of balls here. He might be going for a hit here. He'd be unlucky not to be on a ball should he not get the hit. Well, he isn't going for the hit. And the longer that you leave this in this situation, the more likely you are that you're going to run into trouble when you get right down to the wire and you have to deal with this situation. Again, he could try and get a hit here coming around it off that short rail into them. Bound to be on something. He's got the hit. Well, I say bound to be on something, but he's almost stuck himself in the 3. He's still got a shot, but he's going to have to play a dodgy cut on this 9 ball, I think. I don't think he's got anything else. I mean, you could try dropping the 5 into the side if you're ambitious. So, thin cut in the 9 to stay at the table. And he's got it. Cue ball leaking away. And now, the other problem he has, of course, these 2 lined up. And he could also deal with that immediately. If he just gets a little feather on that 7 ball, it should retrieve the situation. Well, he's actually found a gap. Would you believe it? He's found a gap. Well, he could take the 7 right now into the side, and that does deal with the problem. So it's actually worked out in his favour. Right, so where's the break ball then? Again, this looks a bit too high, but if you were sort of there on it, you could pot it and get a shot into the side of the pack. I don't think these 2 balls up here are really any good. That one looks a bit too far at the back of the pack. So 5 ball looks like the favoured ball here. But he's got to get that good line on it, whether it be that he's outside in the table like this, or whether he's going to be inside like that. But that's immaterial. He's actually going to be playing the 5. Oh, well, this is way too straight. He can pinch a wee bit here. He might get a brush on something, but, well, it's broke, but the cue ball has almost gone dead. That 2 ball does go, but again, it's very adjacent. It's very close. Well, Bankster saw sense there, just played the safety. Pack still too tight to do anything with it. So, 70 points behind Bankster. Well, sooner or later, somebody's going to bump something out, or somebody's just going to lose patience. And it might be Bankster. He said, I don't know whether it's a sort of half-hearted go at the two, but left the cue ball in the stack. And it's pretty safe because it's right on that 6 ball pretty much. Now, I'm looking to see if there's anything there. Well, just loosened up 1 or 2. That 2 ball well cut. Bankster going to give it a go. And, well, it's going to have to be the 5 and probably do another nudge here. I think this is ugly, where he's finished. He's right in the middle of nowhere here. Would you believe it? He's right in the middle of where you wouldn't want to put the cue ball, and got a dodgy cut in the 14 to stay at the table. It couldn't have finished any worse. And he's going hell for leather. So that run was just 2. Oh, what is this? Did you not hear earlier, Cobra? Or was I just imagining it? Maybe it was. Welcome to Cobra. I don't think you'll see anything here so far that'll put the fear of death into you. And obviously what's happened earlier on to the day, today, you wouldn't have been worried about any of them either. Well, you'll be able to read Romario's excuse further up the chat for why he was crap. Well, crapper than normal, because he's changed his English method. And he'll go back to what he's used to in a short while. So, acero in 3 figures now. He's halfway home. And this is a nice little table here. The way these are set, there's not really an issue provided you just get the pattern right. And clearly you'd want to get rid of the 7 unless you're going to get rid of the 6 and leave the 4 there. But you've got to obviously get them at some point. And he's got a chance right now, I think. Now, that's a question whether he tries to get into a spot off this 1 ball or whether he takes the 6. Yeah, he's going to take the 6. Now, again, he can, well, he's looking at the, I forgot there's a ball up table as well, so he's got that to deal with. And that's worked out fine. You can cleanly get to that 6 ball without any problem. So it looks as if he's committing to the 6 ball. And that 6 ball just sitting pretty much in the corner of the pack. And where the 8 ball is, as long as he gets down good on it, he should have a good cut on this 6 ball. He's gone a bit straight, though. You'd want to be further up the table. You wouldn't want to be really playing this from here. And he's trying to get up the table a wee bit. That's not too bad. Oh, that 11 ball just came back and loosened another ball out. Has he got a shot? Well, he's got a cut into the side. I think that's pretty much all he's got right now. Cut into the side on, what was it, the 14 that went in there? Or the 15? Now, I'm just going to tab out for a second once he's played this pot, just to shut down Discord. If I can remember how to do it, hang on a sec. Right. Now that 4 ball's well off the rail, so you can cut that at any good time that you're on it. He's on it right now. I think he can get in there to get the cut. The question is whether he's wanting to risk doing anything with the cue ball to move stuff. Well, he went for the 2 instead. And of course, remembering that these pockets are now narrow and not the normal pockets, it's going to be a bit like the 10-ball tournament we just played, where the tight pockets in that were catching players out, and I think these narrower pockets and what they're used to, or what they have been played on in the past, is certainly, well, Slim said it earlier on today, he thinks it's going to be a struggle for any player to get a 3-figure run in this tournament. Aye, most of the tournaments are on the tournament pockets. Well, Bankster's got a break ball. Now, he doesn't really want to let this cue ball leak away. He's held it. So now he can come around the other side, round the back for this 9 ball into the same pocket. See, that's poorly played. That's poorly played and careless. There's no way he should have been running into that 9 ball. He should have been around the back and around the other side, well away from it. You know, it's just poor execution. And again, if you'd controlled the cue ball properly, you'd never have been near the 9 ball. Not in a month or Sundays would you have ever been near that 9 ball. Acero's, again, just gone a bit more inside for my liking, but he's still got a clean pot on. And again, they've broken not too bad that he's at least got a follow-up shot, but there are issues to be dealt with. Now, the obvious thing is how you're going to deal with this setup here. I mean, if he starts bumping balls now, things could change a wee bit. Well, nothing's really changed there, but again, with this setup, you see, I'm already worried about this setup here because of, for example, the 8 ball sitting there. And he's on a fairly straight pot in this too. And he could just come back and nudge a ball out the way here. He's gone forward. And the other thing, of course, is that if you're down this side where you've got balls to get this side, you can easily pot one of them into the corner, but you can't do that with that 14 ball. And I don't think you really want to be trying to manufacture any sort of combo there. So this is an issue further on in this rack, unless he deals with it pretty sharpish. And again, you know, the more he keeps potting balls, now this is a chance here, having got rid of the 8 ball, just to get rid of one of those balls right where he is. And that's perfect. So, crisis over as far as the problem situation in the table's concerned. Now the problem is where's the break ball? Well, that would be the nominated ball there. This would do as well. Again, it's just a wee bit further away from the rack. So you've got 2 balls to commit to at some point. It's just how you get there. Well, I presume he played for the 3 and he's committing to the 14. Right, so everything is set up. He could take this 7, take the 5 down the rail, come back for the 10 into the side, and he'll be in plumb position for the break shot. Well, that's gone a bit too far the wrong side. Now he's running away from the break shot. He's going to have to get a hold of this cue ball a wee bit here. And misses the pot. And that, again, all because he got the wrong side of his penultimate ball. Had he been perfect on it, he would have been a lot closer to the break shot and he probably would have never missed it. So that run ends in 15. But the lead is far too much at the moment. Well, of course, I mean, we did see a lot more scratches in the normal pocket setup. Of course, you're going to see that because the pockets just gather the ball in. They're so wide. But at the same time, of course, it did encourage higher runs. And it made the penalty for mistakes a bit more severe as well, when you think about it. Whenever I see a player, you know, putting 3s and 4s together and not coming up with an awful lot more, you think, well, has this player got any sort of plan in his head about what he's actually doing? Well, we know where the problem situation is. It's here. And, well, without nudging them, there's at least 1 or 2 opportunities to get below them to play something up the table, if you wanted to do that. Because, again, Bankster's running out of balls here to actually get there. Now, this is just requires a little dink. Just a little dink and maybe a hole to drop into that area to get rid of one of these. And if he gets the right angle, he can get rid of one and nudge the other out the way. Well, that's actually got too good. He would have liked to have sort of been in between so he could nudge one of the other ones out the way. He's finished 2 straight in the 4 ball. Now he's got another chance off this 9 if he doesn't bump into the 12. That's far too heavy. I don't know what the hell he's hitting it that hard for. I mean, all you do is run around the corner and drop behind it and play one of them up the table again. I've no idea what he was. He's obviously trying to run into them when it was far easier to run behind them. How's this going to finish? 2 straight, I think is the word. He might be able to pinch this into the far right of the pocket and get a nudge, or just drop in behind one of them, whatever he's comfortable with. Well, he did pinch the angle. And, well, it's going to be a good break shot with this setup. Now, if he gets into the table here, he can play the cut. Doesn't want to go too straight like that. I think he can run forward and come off the back rail. Got a hit. And has a shot. That's all you want. That'll do. So the lead is now, what, 81? Yeah. This match is over. I don't see Bankster suddenly come to the table and suddenly everything falls into place. That's not going to happen. Well, time for a hit. And
Where's the
ball's
cue
gone.
ball going?
Oh dear, how sad, never mind.
Right, so Bankster at the table again. And I think he just killed himself. Has he? Oh, yeah, I think he has. It's a dodgy cut in the 7, which he's got. That cue ball died in that stack of balls there, but he's got out of it, but he's not going to have a lot to follow here unless he does a bit of damage. And he's found the gap again.
Where's the cue ball going?
Well, one more opportunity here to drop down onto this 8 ball. Again, I think he's ended up, well, he's got an angle.
Where's the cue ball going?
Oh, wrong button. I think he's blocked himself off again on the 10 ball and blocked off in the 2. Now, this is just a delicate little massey, just a soft massey. The harder you hit this, the worse it'll get. And he's got it. And he's landed perfect to get rid of one of these balls. Now, looking at what he has there, the 3 ball is an ideal break ball. Tell a lie, isn't it? It's in the stat. What am I talking about? I'm forgetting where I'm sitting in the table. I'm going round the table and round the table. I'm forgetting where I am in the table. Now, 14 ball will do. And they should be, again, well, he's checking it up this time. And he's going to have to check it up a good deal more if he's going to get any hit in the pack. And he's actually overcooked it, believe it or not. Completely missed him. Well, you never thought he would do that. He's just up far too much. And now we're going to get a wee bit of tipping and tapping. And this is, you know, when you're doing this sort of stuff, this is where you have to be careful about what you're doing, because it's so easy to nudge a combo into play. And that's stuck the cue ball onto the 3. So now you can't run into the long grass. The 1 ball's down there in the kitchen. And that's a point away. And don't forget, straight pool doesn't have, well, it does have a 3-foul rule, but it doesn't have a 3-foul rule in the sense of what most players are familiar with, where you lose the rack, or in this case, you would lose the match. In straight pool, it ends up in total an 18-point penalty if you 3-foul. Well, there's another foul. I'm not sure whether that is that 1 for acero and 1 for Bankster. Well, there's another one. So somebody's in 2 fouls. I'm not quite sure who, but I think it's Bankster. I think he's in 2 fouls right now. See, that's why it would be good to have a foul count on screen as well for the spectators, as well as the players, because the only way you're going to remember that you're on 2 fouls is when it tells you in the screen, but it doesn't tell us as spectators. Well, I think both of these players are maybe in a wee bit more of a rush for the wrong reasons. I think Bankster just wants to try and score something and eventually get it over with, and likewise for acero. I can't say that acero's taken liberties, but because he's always going to be aggressive, acero. But all I would say is that if going back to earlier this afternoon, if SBD was anywhere like the person we think that they are, they would never come out of that match with a high run of 21. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, to think that Romario lost the match and had the highest run of the match of 24 is a bit embarrassing when you think about it. Right, now, we never looked at the pack here. Maybe is there something happening in this pack? He called the 6 ball, which didn't go. So no score from Bankster. Cutting the 15 into the side. Again, there's always issues that you have to be fully switched on to deal with at the earliest possible time. And we have issues on this table, which would certainly hinder progression in putting a run together. Now, that 9 ball can certainly just get you in the spot to get rid of one of those 2 balls. And the other problem is what we have here, and none of them are set anywhere. That little diamond of 4 are going to need a nudge. Well, you can certainly play the draw off the 10 and get a hit. He's got a perfect line to do that and just nudge these open. And that's pretty much the problem dealt with. I mean, that 2-ball goes, so there's no further nudging needed here. What you've then got to look at is what's your odds on getting a decent break ball. And he's missed the pot in the 4 in the meantime. So Bankster, again, the visit falls short of double figures, so Acero has a chance just to stretch that lead again. Now, what's the OK about? What did I miss in the chat there? And you're going to have to remind me. Who the hell is no doubt 46able? I've totally forgotten. Anyway, good evening. Chimpy says that this is hard to watch. Well, it is. But the thing with straight pool, I think I watch it in the hope that somebody's going to put something decent together. But, you know, I don't think Acero's really, you know, he's not fully focused here in the sense that he knows that punishment's coming his way should he break down. I don't think Acero's got anything like that in the back of his mind. He's seen enough of what Bankster's doing not to be worried and just to basically go through the motions till he eventually gets to the finishing line. That's all this is. This is just the way this is going. But I think Acero, like everybody else, if you get through that first round or the first couple of rounds, you're bound to bump into trouble. And he knows that he's going to have to pick up his game and certainly be a lot more focused as if he progresses further in the tournament. No doubt about that. That's a good break. And, well, he's got a thin cut up the top of the table. I think that might be the 13. He's got these 2 bailout balls down here. No, it's a 12. And then you've got this set up here again where they have to be picked out in a particular order to open things up. So you get rid of the 5 ball, you open up the 9. However, again, you have balls here that are very adjacent and handy as break balls. So right about now, he should have an idea of exactly how he wants to go about doing this. He certainly doesn't want to pot the 6 and play the 14 where he's running into these if he can help it, but he needs to get rid of one of them. So he has to commit one way or the other. We've got a bailout ball down table here we need to remember about, which I suppose in one aspect, when you've got potential break balls here and you've got a ball down here, it's a handy ball to play to get onto the final break ball. And now he's added to this problem by having the 3 ball now down the rail. Finished a bit square in the 9. And that bailout ball has gone. So now it's going to be the 3 ball that might be the penultimate ball to the break ball. And how far up the pack is that 14? Well, it's sitting pretty good, I would suggest. Needs an angle in this 3. Doesn't want to be too straight. He's going to have to punch this in and get out onto this 14. Well, he's got there. Oh, that cue ball has just stuck there. I mean, he hasn't hit that at all. So focused on getting the pot, he's actually forgotten the cue ball. He hasn't hit it, and now he's dead in the water. The run is 23, but he ain't getting anything else out of this unless he spotted something. Well, I would just take the loss of a point, stick him in the stack, and leave him nothing. Well, there's no way acero would have done that against somebody else if they were right on his tail, because that's just giving a free go to your opponent doing that. There was nothing to stop him just sticking in the stack there and leaving Bankster nothing. It's like what we always say, if you have the opponent down and out, then make sure you keep them down and out. Don't give them any encouragement. I mean, if anything, this is like a wee warm-up potting session for Bankster. Yeah, the cue ball's just hanging loose. I mean, again, no control there of what he was doing or attempting to do, and the cue ball just brushed through and went straight into the pocket. It's just not thinking properly about what you're doing. You've got to think about the hold in the cue ball, not letting it go loose like that. And again, a visit that comes to nothing. Well, I stand corrected. 1. More reason for acero to take liberties and just try and get this done as quick as he can. Take risks, because there's not an awful lot coming back at him. 10 into the side. I don't know that he's on the 8 ball. He's certainly on it now. That can open up the pocket, getting rid of that. You just got to watch how far up the table he comes up, or at least he comes up far enough, because he wants to be high enough to at least see the 4. And anything short of that, he wants to fill it, get into the gap to play the 11. Well, he certainly made sure he can see the 4. I'm not sure that that's what he was playing for. I think he's played for the 6. And again, he has to be careful how he runs through here, but I think he's running into the 2 and 3. Oh, no, he's caught the 5, played it soft enough. So, 4 ball, how far is that? Is that in the triangle? No, the 4 ball would work for a break shot. It's sitting reasonably good position. And this just needs a little nip back, stunning the 2. Oh, he's gone through the other side, so that'll work as well. The only problem is he's going to be brushing that 12, what is it, the 12 or the 13? 13. And that's why he's took the 13 instead, because he would have been just pushing into the 13. So 1 good positional shot. And is this going to be the visit that will get acero to the finishing line? Well, they've broken well, but it's a missed call. Right, So yeah, I think you would say this is last chance saloon to actually put a score on the board for Bankster. Now, if he's got any angle that he can draw into those two balls, that's what he tried there. He actually tried to probably pinch more of an angle than he ever had on that one ball, and that's why he missed it, because he was trying to bump these. So that's the tale of this match. Bankster's visits have all been short and sweet, and dribs and drabs, and Acero's been under no pressure. I would expect Acero to up his game when he knows that he's going to have somebody coming at him. If he's going to give people opportunities later on in the tournament, I've no doubt that he will. This could do with a little brush. Well, that'll work. Presumably, you can still see the one ball. If that is the one ball and not the 9, it's the one. And there's the other problem. Well, touch and go that you can actually get. I think you can get some of that 12 ball where you could pot it, but do you really want to be trying to do that? Or do you want to try and get a nudge? Yeah, you just try to get a little nudge, and that does the trick. So now we have somewhere else to focus. You've got to focus up table here and get rid of certainly most of what's down the table at this end, particularly, of course, the 4 ball and the rail. You want to deal with them sooner rather than later, and then you're focusing on one particular area in the table. You don't want to be going backward and forward, and he's already got himself dodgy. And we are going backward and forward. This is what you don't want to be doing. You want to be, fully focused on one specific setup that you're dealing with. And now he's got to get back onto this ball in the rail at some point very soon. I never even noticed you there, Tam. Good evening. I'm half asleep already. Oh dear. And I think Acero is as well. Well, it's probably nearer breakfast time, I think, for Acero than it is bedtime. So he's also got that excuse. Well, can Bankster get to 80 before Acero gets to the finishing line? Of course, that 4 ball still lying there on the rail. There goes the best chance of a break shot there with the 2 ball going in. And of course, the 4 ball can be played right now. Well, this is no good. Well, that was a proverbial country mile away. So, did you see any of that game earlier on today, Tam, if you're still there? Well, again, this comes off the side of the pack. There's a danger of a scratch here. Well, he came off the side, avoided the scratch. I think Tam's got bored already and left. No, if you get a chance to watch the highlights, the highlights are probably already on and done. If you look behind the goal at the Copeland Road end, the Rangers end, I think it's the Copeland Road end, but if you look behind the goal, you'll see there's a patch of people where they don't have any scarves on. They're all sort of just blacked out. Well, that's the thugs that all come onto the pitch with the blue masks in their head at the end of the game. There was dozens of them all come onto the park. And I don't know who hired them at Ibrox, but that was obviously rent-a-mob that come onto the pitch. They've all got on the same like Kendo Nagasaki masks so they can't be identified. I think they all came in the same bus. I was at the Battle of Hampden in 1980. I was at that game. That's what 1980. That's 46 years ago. That's unbelievable. I was at that game. Right, well, it might be Arnie time, folks.
Hasta la vista, baby.
What else have I got here?
When things look bad, and it looks like you're not going to make it, then you got to get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean. Because if you lose your head and you give up, then you neither live nor win. That's just the way it is.
Well, I watched the end of that match. I never watched. I switched it over in Scotland a 50 points to 20 odd lead, and then of course I started to panic, thinking it's just typical of the Scots snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I thought they were going to end up losing it. You think if there was another 10 or 15 minutes left in that match that they might have, the way the French were running in tries in the second half. But that's good considering, well, considering two things. Considering they get gubbed by the Italians in their first match, and then the Italians gubbed the English later on that afternoon. So it all went well for Scotland. And now they've got a chance of winning the damn thing. You never have thought that after the first game. No, I wasn't watching it. I can't remember. What was I doing? Was that? No, I might have been watching football at the time. I think I had the stream on. Right, so acero on 188, 12 short of where he needs to be. Bankster trying to get to 80. That's the first target I've given him. And he might not get many opportunities left to actually get there. Right now, there's still a problem with 3 and 5. Now let's have a look at this. And see, there's no problem with the 13, although that 13's sitting perfect for a break ball. So that may not be there much longer, because you can't get to the 1 ball unless you were going to pot the 15 and finish below the stack and play that one ball up the table. Now, he's got a chance of doing that right now, either off the 7 or off the 15, but he's tried to bump stuff. And it's not done any good. I think the simpler shot was to pot one of them and drop behind them and get rid of one of them. That would have been a simpler thing, but he's actually landed out good, so he can get rid of the one, keep that 13 there as his break ball, and now he just has to get on it one way or another. Easier said than done. Well, I think there's another, that's not going to get there. That's going to be played to the rail far too soon. Well, that is probably his last scoring opportunity there for Bankster. And Acero, if he can get reasonably good on this break shot, he should be home and dry, you would think. He's got to judge the control in this cue ball, and again, that's never easy to judge when the object ball is in the pocket. Well, this looks good, though. I think he's played this very well. That is excellent. That couldn't have landed any better now. Going to be obviously catching the top of the pack here. Got the break. Has a shot. And enough balls there to finish this match. Well, we started at 6 p.m. GMT, that is. Now, as Slim was telling me, the clocks in the States went forward early this morning, so they're now on their version of summertime, whereas in the UK, we don't go to British summertime until the 29th of March, the last Sunday in March. So we're still a couple of weeks away from that yet. And meanwhile, Acero going through the motions here. Needs 5 more balls to see the back of Bankster. Bankster did get to 80, however. He got to the target I gave him. So 3 more balls and they're all there. And we'll have a quick look at where that leaves the bracket in a minute. So this to go through to round 2. And a comfortable win for Acero. And like I said earlier, he will have to up his game, which I'm pretty confident he will do as the bracket moves on. So Acero through to round 2 with a comfortable win, right at the top of the bracket. Once this updates, that is. Where is the damn thing? And refresh view. There we are. Torrey, no, he's not at the top of the bracket. Where am I looking at here? My bad. Where the hell were they? Why can't I see him? He is at the top of the bracket. He's ready to play Tommy, that's it. So that should be a bigger challenge for him in round 2. Then we've got, there's other players who are advanced to round 2 as well because they've got buys. So you've got Viking up against German Pot Machine. Their match is in a couple of days' time. We have Silent but Deadly through to round 2 to play Rabbit. And then further down we have a big match with Albinario and Larry. They've still to arrange their time. And they've got, what's that? Till March the 24th. They'll get loads of time to play their match because they're in round 2. It just dawned on me. I started thinking, why the hell have they got so long? And I just realised it's a round 2 match. So you've got the Albi and Larry. Then you have Interchange X, who got through earlier on, up against MC_Clarkey. Again, that should be an interesting one to watch, but nowhere near as interesting as the one at the bottom of the bracket there, or near the bottom of the bracket. You've got Stubb, Real Poland Power, up against Spectre Dawn. And this will be Spectre Dawn's first straight pool tournament I think he's ever played in, unless he tells us otherwise. We have another round 1 match, Preacher up against Cobra. And again, I think they're going in a couple of days' time, are they? What's that, March the 11th? Well, 3 days' time. And the winner of that will play Soft Break, who had a bye. And then you have, I never knew Wanwa was in this. Him and Mark Shark both get buys to round 2, so they play one another. I'm not sure whether one was going to show up. I think he'll show up for this one because he'll fancy his chances against Mark Shark. But I think any further ahead, he'll disappear out the building, I would think. Right, so final summary. We have what's left on the bracket, those 2 matches to go ahead in 2-3 days' time. And the bad news is that I'm got one more day off. I've got Monday off. Well, the good news, there's bad news and good news. I've got Monday off. I go back to work and do a short shift on Tuesday, and then I've got my 2 days off again. So I'm going to have a tough week ahead. Right, that's it, folks. Well done to Acero, who I would imagine has gone either for breakfast or gone back to bed. Bankster wants to go and do a bit of practice, I would think, at some point before his one-loss side match comes around. Right. Hit the like button if you can be bothered. Thanks for your company, and I will see you again very soon at some point in the not-too-distant future. So until we meet again, I'll bid you good night. Let's see if this works.
Good night, ladies.
There we go.
We don't make mistakes here. We just have happy accidents.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.